can be acting as a
Librium.
full
Or
member.
Valium, because there's a muscle relaxant, and they were dumping it.
All right, so
Tramadol
it's
on top of that.
6:31. We're going to call the meeting to order. So you guys are going to have to put up with our little bumps here because this is new territory for me. So I've got two people who are very good here and etiquette for this, so I think we'll probably make it through. All right, we don't have any members of the public present, so I think we're going to skip that. Don't have any appointments to make, so cruising right along. Oh, hi Cindy, how are you? We were listening for crutches.
Yeah, I got this last week.
I didn't know they gave you a razor.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Well, what did you do? What did you do? Why, and I can see that.
Oh, I have crutches.
Wow.
Do you need something to prop that up on?
No.
You sure?
If it starts hurting.
All right, so no appointments. So we can move right to the first statutory business, which is Alex Parenko of Icon Motors. Are we expected to deal with this if they're not here? Do they need to be here? Yeah, that's not going to happen. Yeah, you're going to have to turn sideways to do it. I don't think that there. I don't think there's any reason not to discuss that, even if they're here or not, right? Anybody have any questions about that? No? Willingness to discuss this even if they're not here? I
think the
and the only reason I'm saying that is, if you've read it, to me doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of. It's not a whole lot of discussion on this for me, unless I missed something. So does anyone have any questions on it right off the get-go, or?
So it wasn't clear if their internal drains were was a closed system or not, but apparently there's a separator, an oil gas separator.
Yeah,
involved.
there's an oil gas separator, and even on the original, if you look in the original plan from June 2006, there's supposed to be some kind of additional note as to the maintenance and handling of the waste oil and storage of the fuel.
Yeah.
And I didn't see it on this plan, and I didn't see it addressed in here. So that's one item to me that I would like to see addressed.
Right.
It's just specifically because they are in the wellhead. So.
Yep, and the wetland that's not quite on their property, I think the back corner touches it, is part of a system that drains across or under the road and eventually ends up towards the Merrimack River.
Conservation
Yep.
Commission. This is the Conservation Commission for the Memorial Conference Room.
Yeah. That's all right. Hi. How you doing?
I think you're up.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I was in the wrong building.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, we need to.
Let's see if we're engage chairman and admin.
What?
No, I said you're chairman and admin.
Yeah.
Sorry, James.
Yeah, please sign in. So you have your full name and spelling. And if you wouldn't mind, just for everyone's sanity here, just kind of go over a quick overview of the project would be great.
Okay, so my name is Alex Petrenko. Trying to start a business, Icon Motors, on 674 Daniel Webster Highway. Primarily trying to do service, partially sales. So that's one of the things. I'm not really sure what this meeting is about. I'm new to this stuff, so I was even confused last time we were at the board, the planning board. So I guess it's first time business owner. and I moved into the building. I guess it used to be utilized before as an automotive dealership slash service facility years ago, and then DNR Power took over, and then here I am trying to open it back up, I guess.
We are, the Conservation Commission, part of that property meets a wetland, and it also is in the wellhead protection area. So that's of concern to us. So the planning board passes those notes along to us, or the applicants along to us when that happens.
Mhm.
So that's why you're here.
Got it.
Yeah, we have no jurisdictional authority, but we do provide a recommendation to the planning board and planning department, and they can choose to act on it or not.
Sure.
So,
I know a couple of things that they asked me last time with the planning board, which was last week, I believe, was regarding the spill kits for fluids if they start leaking and whatnot. If there's any sort of curbage or anything to protect it, if there's vehicles parked in the parking lot and they start leaking. So the building all the way around, that kind of afterwards, again, moving in there, I didn't really pay attention to those little things. And then after the planning board, when we had the board, I started going through everything to make sure, it is what, protected in a way, and I have everything I need. So there is it's about 6 inches off the ground, there's some curbing going on all the way across the parking lot. So talking to the owner about it, and I asked him previously if there was anything done to the facility or the property to to protect the wetland, which is right next to it, and he said that's one of the reasons why they actually were made to pull up the curbing. I'm not sure what the exact term of it is. It's not just like a regular like a board, a sidewalk type of thing. It's actually cemented into. What's the proper term of it? Yeah, it's almost like a water barrier that's there. And it's going throughout the whole facility, throughout the whole property, basically, anywhere where there's pavement is. And I guess that's one of the reasons why they put it up, is to prevent any sort of, from plowing, salt and whatnot, kind of to get pushed in there. So.
The one question that we were looking at, there's some interior drains to the building, and there's some water and gas separator.
Correct. Yep.
And there was on the original plan back in 2006, there was supposed to be some addendum to it to talk about the maintenance of that and how that wastewater and that waste gas fluids are treated. And I don't know if you could speak to that.
Sure. As far as waste fluids, so waste fluids, we have a company, for example, for coolant. I have the 55-gallon drums. That's where the coolant goes. I have all individual catch cans. It's big catch cans that go underneath the lift. One's for coolant, one's for transmission fluid and oils. So as far as oils, I have a waste oil heater basically for the whole shop, which actually in the long run heats up the whole dealership. That's where all the waste oil is going to, which is actually perfect because it saves me money that way. As far as the coolant, so we have, like I said, the company that comes and picks it up, and once the two 55-gallon drums are full, there has to be at least a minimum of 2 55-gallon drums that have to be full in order for them to come and pick it up. That's really the two main things as far as drainage goes, for fluids, for hazardous fluids, getting drained. I mean, as far as gas spills or anything like that, we don't really do anything with gasoline. I do have a pump if, for example, somebody comes in with a fuel pump that needs to be replaced. I have one of those big, it's 80 gallons, I believe, a pump that actually sucks the gasoline out, and you can reuse it, siphon it, put it in another vehicle. You see a lot of them on the trucks that they have, emergency vehicles. They have them in the back of the truck. So there's a lot of preventive maintenance as far as, for fluids and stuff like that. As far as the drainage goes, there's really only one drain in the shop area, and it's all the way in the corner where it used to be Recon Bay. I mean, right now I use it as a parking spot for like my trailer or whatever else is in there. So I guess when it used to be a dealership, that's where the water hookup is, and there's a drain going all the way across, throughout the entrance. When you pull into the Recon area.
Is that the drain that's got the water fuel separator in it?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. What's maintenance, long-term maintenance for that? Is there a catch basin that needs to be cleaned out, or is there any kind of...
So on the bottom of it, it has It's like a triangular foam pad that kind of sits in there. That one I have to clean out once a year, especially wintertime. I guess when you pull vehicles in, snow and everything melts and just kind of prevents it from flooding inside, I guess. So with that, leaves and stuff kind of get clogged in there. So there's one foam pad in there. It's almost like you have in the gutters in the house you put in there. And then
That's maintenance that you'll do yourself?
correct, yeah. So it's just big regular crates. You pop them up, clean them up. Otherwise, it just kind of gets clogged up, and you can see the water just kind of coming up. So the planning board asked me to have somebody come in and actually look at it and inspect it. So I contacted Roto-Rooter and then ADP Septic, and whichever comes first, hopefully within the next week or so, I'll have them come by and just kind of do a full inspection and bring the inspection report to community development.
So does that run into the sewer system, or does it?
It runs to a sewer. I believe it runs to the sewer system.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. As far as the owner of the property said, I guess he said it runs into the sewer system.
All right. Well,
But
I guess
again, he's
I guess
not.
you'll find out, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So and that's what I was trying to kind of dig up and see if there's any sort of like detailed plan exactly how everything is set up. Again, I'm kind of my fault on that behalf. I didn't really think I had to worry about all that. Starting a business. I mean, I initially when I signed the lease and everything was just okay. Just get the business registered for Merrimack and that's it. And then here I am doing all this stuff. So I'm still learning, which is good. Learning all about it, and so I'm not. I guess I talked to Robert Price. I think it's from Community Development. So he's gonna help me out as far as trying to see what we can find for the building, detailed plans and anything, to go from there. And then again, when Roto-Rooter come, I mean, I'm sure they'll have something on file because there's stickers from Roto-Rooter with their services before. That's why I contacted them. So I'm sure they have it on file too. As far as what exactly needs to be done and where it leads to.
Yeah, well, Robert should be able to help you find the plans, because if they're not in this building, they might be down in the fire department when the building was originally permitted.
The fire department's the next thing. Again, I've been in contact with the assistant fire chief and the fire marshal as well, keeping them in the loop because I have One Source and Hampshire Fire Protection. I'm working with those two companies right now as far as the sprinkler systems go and all the valves and everything. So there's a bunch of valves that got replaced because it froze up, water damage and whatnot over the winter. Because I guess the building was abandoned for quite some time before I got into it, and of course when I moved in it was nice and warm, so there was no water leaks.
The coolant drums, are they stored inside the building or outside the building?
Correct, they're stored inside, yeah. They're actually in the corner right next to the waste oil. So I keep it all in there. And again, there's a barrier as well, a cement barrier. So even if something ruptures or whatnot, it stays within that area, so it doesn't leak out.
Okay.
And I guess that barrier got put up even prior when I worked for Ira Alexis. I remember them putting them up. I guess it's a code for the building that it needs to be there.
So there's going to be no material storages outside? No?
None.
No?
No,
Okay.
nothing.
Just
The only
vehicles.
thing is a dumpster, and
Okay.
that's in a fenced area.
There was a note in here about adding parking spaces. It's not additional paving, it's just going to be striping
Correct.
the
Yeah.
existing lot?
So I guess the initial plan was for them to add parking spaces, and then it used to be Eurosport years ago.
Yep.
So they actually ended up making it a little golf course out there, and they never even submitted for the parking or anything. So from my understanding, I guess it was a waiver was put in for additional parking, and then they never went through with that because they turned into a little mini golf course, I guess.
But that area is paved now, right?
It's completely paved. It's designed for parking. It's just there's no striping there.
Okay.
And when I started moving my equipment over there, I actually had cars parked there, and that's when I actually met Robert Price. He's like, "Oh, you can't really park there. There's no parking stripes, no parking spaces."
Okay.
So, yeah.
Are you planning on allowing any of the ATVs or other vehicles off the pavement to do driving or anything like
No.
that?
No. I don't want to even deal with it. That's more of like an insurance problem and everything.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
You did make one comment here about doing your own landscaping?
Mhm.
Is that,
To an extent. I mean, right now, yes, because there's bushes that were grown in, stuff like that, small little stuff that I can do myself. I do have Prestige Landscaping that comes in every 2 weeks. He does the mowing and the cleanups, and he is really my landscaper that does the primary landscaping. The only thing that I've been doing so far is again, it's some of the bushes. I know right next door, which is Bucket Pools, I think, or the pool place. I mean, there's trees literally grown in the fence itself, and I went over there and asked him if I can actually cut them down because I guess they've been growing there for years and it's coming in and out of the fence. I mean, stuff like that I cut down because it was kind of pointless,
Okay.
hire someone to spend $1,000 on it when I could do it myself.
Well, I guess my question was, you're not intending to add a lot of landscaping. You're going to
To clean it up.
you're going to fix what's there, and that's,
Correct, yeah. I mean, I like the layout how it is, with the two little bushes in the front and everything's staying there. The only thing I'm trying to clean up, like brush and vines and stuff like that.
The note in here. This, are you signing this plan, or are you going to be signing this plan at some point in
I
time?
can, yeah.
Well, I guess for the planning board, they asked you to sign a copy of the plan.
Correct, I did that before, yeah,
Okay.
prior to the planning board.
So there's a comment here about having a licensed applicator for your fertilizer, and because of physically where your site is and its proximity to the wellhead, we do ask to, very judicious use of fertilizer, because that's, as a runoff product, is potentially pretty dangerous.
Okay.
Yeah, and potentially no phosphate use if you could, because the water system next to your property under the road heads towards the Merrimack River, and phosphates
Okay.
can create the cyanobacteria algae blooms that you see and
Yep,
all those other
yep.
things if there's too much phosphorus. So
That's the middle number. You see, like a fertilizer's 10, 10, 10. That middle number,
Mm-hmm.
closer to 0 you can get, the better.
Okay.
yeah,
I don't really think we're gonna use fertilizer or anything like that because I think we have a problem with too much growing.
Yeah.
We're not really trying to add more.
Well, we do recommend, when people are trying to replant or make plant, it's cheaper to get your soil tested to find out exactly what you need than just go out and buy tons of fertilizer and start spreading around, not needing it at all to begin
Mhm.
with. And UNH, the Cooperative Extension, will test the soils for fairly
Okay.
cheaply. So,
Mhm.
anyone have any questions?
so you're going to do your own plowing and stuff like that.
Yes, I intend to. I mean, unless a business picks up and I start growing, then
Yeah.
As far as right now, I have 2 of my own plow trucks that I have been. I've been plowing there because the dealership I worked prior for the past 2 years, that's the same owner of the building. And he asked me, if I can come in and just kind of plow it every now and then. And that's what really caught my eye was the building, and then I was like, oh, maybe I should start my business. So I've been plowing that property for the past, definitely last winter and then the winter before I went there once. But I do have my own plow trucks and I tend to plow myself.
So the plans talk about no de-icing materials. You're going to continue to do that,
Correct.
I
Yeah,
believe.
there's really no need for the icing materials. I mean, just the layout itself.
Yeah.
It's all just kind of flowing in one corner, and that's where the dumpster is. So if there's a little bit of ice there, it's no big deal.
Okay, so we recommend folks who hire out, or even yourself, if you were to become Green Snow Pro certified, I don't know if you ever heard of that or not. It's a program that the state sponsors, and it's taught through UNH, I believe. What they do is they teach you how to apply sand and how to plow and things like that in order to limit or not have to use de-icing materials and stuff
Okay.
like that, as well as too much sand can clog storm drains and all
course,
that
yeah.
other stuff. So, but if you follow that process and you become certified, you can actually limit your liability if someone was to slip and fall in your parking lot and hurt themselves. So there is a
Yeah.
financial incentive for you to do that as well. You
Makes
may
sense.
want to look into it. So it's
Mhm.
called Green Snow Pro certification,
Okay.
and they
That
offer
sounds good.
classes every so often.
T3 at UNH, T2, T3, whatever that.
I,
I don't know.
Thompson School.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was.
So it's
affiliated with
SNO and then Pro, Snow Pro is how
Mhm.
they term it. So you may want to look into it because it can save you money, especially if someone was to get hurt in their
Right,
own
yeah.
parking. So
Would he need to limit herbicides as well as be careful of too much phosphorus?
that would be helpful. Yeah. So, so one other comment I saw was the wetlands were delineated in 2004, which is 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, we like to see them done, within the last 10 years, because they do change a little bit. They don't usually change drastically. But I don't think that this is a very wet area, right? Outside of your parking area, there's only one corner of it that's wet, correct?
Correct, yeah.
So,
I honestly, I didn't even realize it was wetland until I was, everybody just kept telling me, oh yeah, there's wetland, you gotta be careful. And
yeah.
I didn't even realize it because it's so grown in and I didn't even see anything there.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to be wet as in water, standing
Right.
water. It's all about the soils that are behind it, so that if water was to stay there, it might stand there for a very long time, because wetlands typically don't let the water leave quickly.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they tend to hold water and retain water. So it's about soils and vegetation, and then lastly, is there actually standing water or not? So.
Okay.
I think 12 years is probably good enough
Yeah,
at this point.
yeah.
But
I've been over that site, and it's, like you said, it's not very wet.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
pretty dry back there, and it's,
See this year.
yeah, well, I was over there before it was this year, so.
Oh,
yeah, I wasn't overly concerned about
Yeah,
it.
well,
But
yeah, it's not a big deal, so.
Okay.
So I don't have any more questions. Does anyone, anything else? All right, so we'll be making a recommendation to the planning board on this, and that's something that's, I guess when you'll be going back before them again?
Okay. I guess
I
I'm
doubt
not really
it.
sure.
Yeah, maybe not.
he'll see all our recommendations, because
Okay.
so.
Okay, so what do I do? Just wait now for another letter or email or anything, or?
We'll get this to the planning board
Okay.
quickly, so it won't be much of a wait.
Awesome.
So what are we going to include?
I would think all right, so we're gonna include our only recommendations. One, we'd like to see the maintenance plan for the gas and water separator, and potentially look into the Green Snow Pro certification, and our typical phosphorus, fertilizer phosphorus note.
Yep.
So, pretty standard recommendations from us.
Yes, they can almost recite them.
They can.
All right, I'm gonna have to start learning.
And if you run into anything, where you say, geez, I wish I had asked conservation about this, feel free to reach out to us. You're probably going to see an email from, planning board and you'll see our email. Feel free to, send us an email or reach out to community development with questions for us. We're glad to get back to you.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Actually, you know what? There's one question. So during the planning board, they asked me one question if I ever intended to do any sort of detail or recon or anything like that in the future. I said no because I really wasn't planning on it. Talking to my wife about it, afterwards. If we do, let's say, cars, if we're gonna sell 5 cars, for example, and they want to be cleaned, I mean, is that gonna be an issue washing those cars, or, is there anything that I should do as far as precautionary, or?
It really depends on if your drain goes into the sewer or if it goes into, a leach.
Okay. So if it's in the sewer, it's okay, but if it's in the leach, then do look for something else.
Yeah, because you have to be concerned about what sort of chemicals, cleaning agents, and things like that.
And what you're washing off the car.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I'm pretty sure it goes into the sewer, because how else, with the dealerships that were there before, such as Suzuki, I think used to be then, Eurosport. So obviously, I know they were washing cars there before.
Yeah.
That doesn't
But
mean they were doing the right thing.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll look into it then.
I've seen, one time somebody came in to set up a truck washing setup, and he had an entire setup on the ground that captured all the runoff from the vehicle. okay?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
that, and because it was up in, that's up where the,
Yep.
driving range is. Some guy
Yeah.
was gonna go up there and he was
I
gonna.
And,
think-
and there's
I
another
think
one
that-
down here too.
Yeah, I think they're doing it down with the bus, where they wash the buses.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's something you can get that you can put on the parking lot or wherever, and it
If,
will.
if you find out that it does not go to the sewer, let
Mhm.
us know, and we can get you in contact with, you know, we know they're here in town somewhere, so
Okay.
we can find out about them and get that information to you.
Awesome.
Yeah, and the planning board ought to be able to direct you also, because they had at least 2 of them when I was on it 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Gage, we should find out from the planning board, you know, in a roundabout way, you know, to the planning board, we should find
Yeah.
out before we put a final recommendation, what
Yeah.
goes on with that
Okay.
drain.
Do you know when, you don't have a date for them to come out there and do your research on that?
I'm hoping with, Rotorua told me that they're gonna try it by next week. I'm hoping next week. So on the safe side, you know, probably within 2 weeks,
Okay.
just in case if something happens and they can't come out next week.
Good time to run out of ink.
Need a pen?
Not a good time to run out of ink.
Any other questions for us?
No, I think you guys covered it all, more than I actually knew. So,
Okay, well, thank you for coming in.
all right, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Yeah, we'll see you. Did you want to participate?
Only if there's graft and corruption, but
Okay.
probably not too much.
Along with what you just said, Matt, we can make a recommendation to the planning board with a caveat.
Yeah.
You know, that we're expecting that this, you know, any drains, they're obviously car maintenance, they're gonna be washing, like to make sure that the drains actually drain to sewer and not, you know, local holding basin or something like that.
If they ended up going to an internal tank, as long as that's pumped
Right,
out and
pumped,
dealt
right.
with properly.
Right.
But pumped into the backyard, no, we don't want that happening.
really,
Yeah.
what a novel concept.
Late at night, you see this little pump going in the back.
Well, that's how they're evading the watering restriction.
Yeah.
All right, well, do we need to make I think we're all, by consensus, we can say that we're gonna write a favorable.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, those are standard notes, and I'll put some kind of caveat in there that we would like to know finally where that drain goes to, so we can make
Make
sure.
our final recommendation.
Yeah.
You want me to send you examples?
If you have one, I have a template.
Okay. Yeah.
That's about all I have, so, yeah, if you have something that's,
I've got,
a lot, I'm sure.
yeah, because I store them on a file, and I just keep prepending. So every new one we do gets to the top of the file, and the file just goes down lower. So you can see going back a few years if you really want to look that far.
All right, that'd be helpful.
No problem.
Gives
Okay.
new meaning to the term thread.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, old business. I don't think we really have anything in particular that we're waiting to discuss.
Actually, we could. An item. Larry, you want to join us? So this is someone you haven't met before, but someone I've been spending a lot of time with. I think it's about time because tomorrow night it's going to become public anyway. So,
Right.
so this is Larry Demers.
Evening.
If you don't mind signing our little
Would you
thing there.
could you sign in this so we can get the, your name and spelling correct?
So Larry is one of the homeowners of Profile Estates Homeowners Association. Did I say that correctly? Or close
Yep.
enough?
Oh, good.
So these are the folks who have been talking to us about 7 acres of land that we're interested in acquiring. Tomorrow night, there's going to be a meeting of the homeowners association, and I'll be present to discuss our position and what we're thinking of doing and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's, we've been doing some voting over the weekend, and, of course, we have to have by the way that the original covenants are written, we have to have 2/3 of the homeowners, or lot owners, who's ever listed on the deed. If myself and my wife vote yes, that's one vote. If I vote yes, she votes no, that's cancels out. So it's a little bit tricky, but we feel that we have the correct amount of votes, over 2/3, to do what we want to do. And everybody's in favor. Nobody is against it. The problem is getting enough people to come to the meeting. It's to get the bodies and get the interest. The other day, I sent an email explaining the financial situation. What would happen if we kept it as an association, and how much that would cost every year compared to if we gift it to the town. That's a one-time charge of under $20 or whatever it is. So I think that got a little bit of interest going, because you try to sell your house with a $100 fee against it every year, and the other guy doesn't. It makes a difference.
Yeah.
So we're pretty confident that tomorrow night we'll make the grade. We have election board of directors. I mean, we just formed the association in August, so everything is going to be voted on tomorrow night, and we should be not even have any more meetings, I hope. And then in 90 days, of course, our covenants have a 90-day regulation before we can do anything. We can gather the votes for what we want to do, but you can't act on it for 90 days. So sometime in December or whenever it is, we'll be able to act on, more than likely, gifting it to the town. That's the way it's going to be.
Okay. Yes.
And if those people that don't want to gift it to the town, we'll just, take them out back or whatever. Convince them that that's the way they should.
Hence the interest in Grafton Corral.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Well, obviously going forward, if there's any support you need from us, please, you're obviously working with Tim, but please let us know. And
Been talking to Tim for 2 years, probably this month, about this.
Not
So
quite that
wow.
long, but
The whole fiasco that the guy wanted to do, and it's a matter of court record. I mean, he lost everything. Every time he turned around, he lost.
Yeah.
So, and he even took it to the Supreme Court. And covenants, contrary to what the zoning board and Mr. Worcester yells about, covenants stay with the property through tax sales, through everything. Evidently, not a lot of people knew that. The zoning board doesn't have to live with it, so. So I think we're in good shape. I think we'll be doing some business.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I haven't got I don't have it in my hands yet, but Eileen is going to sign our purchase, i.e. donation agreement, which has the bulk of our conservation restrictions, as we've talked about in the past, that we've done with all our other properties. So, I mean, the intent here is to have it for conservation and recreation purposes. Very limited forestry except for conservation needs. No buildings. We're not going to be creating things. So I think our biggest reason is this parcel is a good buffer to our own parcels that we already have, to Babusick Brook, to the potential MVD well that MVD wants to put near us. So I don't see us really doing a whole lot with that property,
There's not a whole lot of property to do anything with.
Right,
I think in
right.
reverse.
Right, yeah, right.
And,
Yeah.
and the neighbors were concerned about any action around the 20-foot right-of-way that comes in off of Woodbine Lane, because I mean, there's no parking, nobody's been really there except a few of us for the last 40 years, so, you know, if it's not publicized, and even if it's publicized, I mean, most people can't even find the little right-of-way, it's only 20 feet, there's you know, you can go in off a profile and get into the Watkins Forest
Yep.
and get into the property, or
Yep.
you can get into Mitchell Street and come up the other way.
Yeah, right.
So, but again, there's 7.5 acres and, I forget, 600 by 800 by a couple 300 feet deep.
Yep.
It's,
It's a very interesting parcel, that whole area. There's a lot of wildlife over there
Oh.
yeah, people, you get some interesting stuff. And I live right over on the other side of it, on the Mitchell Woods.
Okay,
So I have lots of wildlife in my backyard.
Yeah,
Out of that swamp, so
the
it's,
bear's like my backyard, I
Yep.
can tell.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's-
yeah, there's a lot going on back there.
Yeah, and I watched our property, not supposed to have any cars or trucks or four-wheelers or anything, but I was taking my four-wheeler down to Mitchell Street and cleaning it up and cruising down that long trail that's there and watching the otter in the brook. This was last winter, and it was not much of a brook right now, but
Right.
it was interesting. And,
That's a nice little spot.
So, yeah. So as you can see, we're all behind doing this, so.
Yep.
Well, I just hope that, and I think all the neighbors are in tune to it, that read emails or open their mail, and I mean, a lot of them are sick of it by now because we've been sending emails like their toilet paper, just sending them out, just trying to keep it to the forefront
Right.
so they all remember to show up, you know? So, that's the way it stands. Tomorrow night's tonight.
So with our process, once we get closer to actually doing this, towards the 90 days, we will end up having an official public hearing meeting here,
Yeah.
just to make sure to let anyone from the public come in and say anything. In the last few properties, we've never had someone come in, so, but it could happen, so,
Yeah.
right, so,
Yeah, like I said, I just come in tonight just to see what
Yeah.
what goes on, because I can't hear you on TV, so.
so, yeah,
So-
and then it'll go to the town council, and I don't see them having any issue with this, because this is right in line with everything else we've been doing in that area, so.
Good.
Yep, so,
Hopefully, everything works.
yep, yep,
So,
good,
Good.
great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks.
Take care.
Tell me about it.
Doing my damnedest.
Thought you fixed that knee.
Both needs a fix, this is a foot.
Oh.
I like the scooter.
Have they put a well in over there yet?
No,
No. There's a number of test wells.
yeah,
Yeah, they were running one well somewhere, when I went to the July meeting of the village district. Or was it the August meeting? No, July.
Well, the well that they wanted to put in was supposed to be it was supposed to be just, you know, in
Fill in.
dry season, just to back up.
Yeah.
Wasn't gonna be a regular well, so,
Well, apparently there's another one then,
yeah.
because the engineer reported on, they had started testing another well, and it was producing more than they had anticipated. So.
There's no new drillings back there.
Yeah, okay, well, maybe could be another site.
And I was just back there the other day, and there's even the locks and all the other wells are all,
Yeah,
it doesn't look like they've been opened
they,
for any period of time.
they were out there about 4 to 6 weeks ago, because Jill Lavoie sent me an email.
Yeah, they're doing some marking, but I didn't see anything open or anything
Right.
changed, so.
Okay,
And there's
Alright.
obviously usually when they pump, there's water and disturbance in the ground, and
Yeah.
there's nothing.
yeah, okay.
Isn't there a small private well that he granted for one of the neighbors to put in?
For this property, yes, yeah, so,
But it never went in.
No, so
Oh, the well didn't go in?
so they have an easement for maintenance of the well, but the well itself is not functional
Okay,
because the homeowner have ended up drilling a well for their own water needs on their own property.
okay,
So,
thanks.
but since it was there, they wanted to carry that thing along. So, yeah, it's right by the 20-foot easement area that goes in. So,
Okay.
All right. Is that it for old business, or you got any more surprises?
that's yep. I wasn't sure he was going to come, so that's why I didn't bring it up earlier. So.
All right, new business. Have anyone got anything else that they want to bring up? Items you want to address? Nothing? So I have one item that I just want you guys to put in the back of your mind. I went to speak with Lori Barrett at the PWD the other day. They are willing to look into supporting us in some of the mowing activities and some of the maintenance activities that we do on a non-regular basis, like, you know, once in the spring, once in the fall type of thing, nothing reoccurring. They'd like to hear about the areas that we're having issues with or things that we're trying to address. So as an example, I have two areas top of my head. One, the sidelines of Greater Gateway Trail through Greater Woods. That's an item that we regularly have to have mowed, and we spent quite a bit of money a few years ago having those trail edges brought back out to the right width. And if you've walked up there recently, it's growing. It's healthy. It's growing very well up there. So that that needs to get mowed down again. They have the kind of the Brontosaurus type machine. They could go up one side of the trail and down the other and be pretty quick, and it doesn't have to happen more than once a year or so, and that would kind of be the end of it. Also going into Mitchell Woods, I mean, there's a path going down into Mitchell Woods right now. They used to mow it about once a year, twice a year for us, just to kind of keep it walkable. Right now it's waist high, so that's the type of thing I was thinking of on my back of my head of what kind of things I want to go to her with that are something that she could potentially look at, and as a department they could go in there and take care of it for us, once or twice a year.
That'd be great.
Yeah, so if you guys have something that you're in an area, a spot or something that you know of, that's kind of the kind of thing, that's what I'd like to go back to her with. It's just kind of a list thing. Here are our 8, 10, 12, whatever spots that we need to address.
Yeah, actually, I do have one. So right now, either Lori's team does it or Stormwater, the wastewater folks do it. But in Wildcat Falls, there is the sewer line that goes from the parking lot all the way to the river. That gets maintained regularly. I see that mowed as well as plowed in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
But there's an offshoot of that trail which heads all the way to the sand pit by the falls themselves. That when Andy and the other and the previous members had put in, they made it wide enough so a vehicle could get down there, emergency vehicle.
That's pretty much a straight shot that goes right along the side
Under
of
the
the
power lines.
Well, yeah. So just past the drainage area where all the sewers go in, there's a left. The trail goes to the left, and that's a main line. It's wide enough for a vehicle. That shoots all the way to the sand pit, straight under the power lines and all the way through. Well, that's starting to grow in now.
Okay.
And therefore, that could prevent an emergency vehicle from getting to the power line, to the falls, which could impede, a rescue of some sort. So, I think that needs to be brought back out to being 8 feet wide, like it was before, or 11 feet, whatever it is. So,
I think if that's something that they're willing to take on, we may have to assist in showing them where that is.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I mean, Laura was very upfront. She's like, she said to me, right, can't even promise that we can do it.
Yeah.
Particularly if it's going to be reoccurring. And I'm like, this is going to be a, once a year, twice a year type of thing.
Right.
Because we just don't have the machinery to go in there. And how we're funded is not going to go on forever. And we're not going to be able to afford, paying all these people to go out and do this stuff. So we're going to have to start looking at other ways of funding some of our maintenance activities.
Yeah.
Items like this that are once in a while done, they said they'd be willing to look at.
Yeah, I think this is really a great time of year to be thinking about that, because she's probably preparing her budget,
Mm-hmm.
and the budget process is about to get going here, so.
Yeah.
So if there's something that does have a budgetary impact, she should plan for that, and we can ask Tom to support that through the budget process. Because we're not asking for every trail to be done, only the ones that really provide that emergency access.
Yeah, the manager will present her budget the first meeting in December.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is very, the timing is fortuitous, if you want to call it that, so.
Yeah.
And I would think once a year would,
Yeah. Sometime after the initial growth, spring growth is probably the right time. you
Yep.
know, July or something like that, or June.
Yeah, because especially if it's done every year, it's going to be much easier. Because right now, the edges of the Gateway Trail, it's going to be a little bit more work, because there's birch trees in there that are 1.5 inches growing up out of the drainage, drainage swales.
Yeah.
So, they won't be 1.5 inches if it's mowed every year.
Right.
So right now, even the sickle bar mower, we have a gentleman that's volunteering time to go through there with sickle. We got to chop those down first. So,
Yeah.
what could be a quick trip is now a little bit more laborious. So, but yeah, thank you, Tim. But if you guys find areas and spots that need to have that type of attention, if you could just get those to me, I'm going to make a single list and get that to PWD, and we can go walk them and make sure that that's gonna fit in everyone's schedule.
When are you planning on getting back to her?
There's no schedule. I'm
Oh,
trying.
okay.
I'm trying just to do it to get. I'm just trying to do it to get it done. As we said, that I know the budgets are coming up, so I'd like to get her be able to go walk it while it's vegetated and see what she's going to be in for,
Right.
and then we can go from there. But there's no real.
I'll bring it up at the subcommittee meeting
Yeah.
in a week from tonight.
Yeah, actually, that's a great point. The mowing of around the new parking lot in Horse Hill. Why?
Right.
Why are we mowing? Do we need to?
I didn't think so.
I know they cut the trees back, but I don't think there really needed to be a buffer there between the parking lot and the trees. That stuff can just grow in. I don't think there needs to be any more maintenance over there.
Okay.
That-
Bring that up.
Okay.
Meeting.
Anyone else? Anything? Bueller?
nothing I can talk about.
Okay, other business, moving on. So these are, obviously these items are just being left on here until we take them off, so anytime that we feel we've updated these enough, we can just strike them and remove them from the agenda, future agendas, so.
Okay, so I do have some of them. So the first one's Jeff's work on our property on Conservation, Continental Boulevard. So he's sent me 2 updates since our last meeting. So the one that was dated early August. Basically, he said that he's completed the bird surveys that they were doing. There were no rare findings, but there were certainly a few species that are of regional conservation concern, and he'll include those in our report. Mostly wetland birds, and he named off a few of them, which will be in the report. So they did do some turtle trapping to find out what kind of turtles are in that area. Found painted and snapping turtles, which you'd expect in a really wet area. They had at that point they had begun plant surveys, and because there is a potential for a rare fish species, he's going to do some fish trapping. So that was noted in that area in the past, but many years ago. And if it was to be found, it would be the first time it's been seen in a long time. So he thought he would try. So he's going to set up some nets and see what he can catch. So he said that he got all the transmitters removed from the turtles around Horse Hill except for one that's been giving him a lot of trouble. In fact, his latest update was to me this afternoon, and he says he still hasn't got it yet. but they're trying. Andy has been doing fish trapping. Andy expects a draft report later this month for us to
There's
start
gotta be
looking
some
at. So,
punchline that we can't catch
yeah,
a
right.
I know, right?
So. So he's been moving forward, and we'll see a draft report hopefully by the end of September. So.
Great.
All right. That's that one. Yeah, Matt's doing NRPC trail mapping, so.
So, we've completed 3 of the 4 properties.
Wow.
So, Greater Woods is all we have left. And the gentleman that I'm mapping with is, he needed a couple weeks. I think they have other towns that they're also working with, so he needed a couple weeks before he could get that going. So I'm guessing it's probably going to be into October till we get that. But we completed Horse Hill, and we marked not only all of the trails, but we got all of the posts, all the benches, all the bridges, you know, this foundation, Old Kings, gates, kiosks. We really did very thorough inventory of what's out there. So
Great.
I think we'll be really happy with the results. I saw some early results, which he was very reluctant to share with me, because they really want to do a really, really good job and make it look really nice. So he didn't want to just show me lines and things like that. He wanted, he wants to work on it with the team and get it really, really touched up before they show it to us. So.
Do you have a plan for Greater Woods? Like when you're gonna be able to go in there and do it?
Really just waiting on
Just
what he's got
He's got.
available.
What, I know we talked about it, I don't remember where we ended up, but what did we think about, we got the new property, we don't really have any of those trails marked, are we just gonna walk them? And just so we have the data, and what are we gonna try to do with that?
Yeah, there's trails that I guess that you were working on too, right? Are those gonna get included?
So I think you missed the meeting where we made a decision on all of the trails that are existing at Greater Woods. So
Well,
there's nothing new that's being worked on that hasn't been decided on yet.
right, but there's other, we know there's other trails out there.
There are other trails on, it's really difficult because I believe a lot of the trails that are out there go on and off our property a number of times.
Right.
So if you think we should capture all of that, we could. It's just going to, that's another day.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's saying, that's not a little job,
No.
I understand that. But I'm just wondering, some of those trails are not awful. Some of them are, need a lot of repair, but some of them are like, well, this is
Agreed.
not a bad, and granted, if it's on our property, if it's not on our property, we should know that, but they're trails, they're there, and people are, you go out there, there's people on them, so
Mm.
do we try to capture it and not put it onto the official trail map, but have the data? Would it be worthwhile?
It might be eye-opening to find out which ones are really on our property and which ones aren't, because they could
Mm.
certainly get the property lines and all that involved.
Yeah, and another question I had for him, and one of the things that we did at Horse Hill is we captured a couple of the discontinued trails,
Mm-hmm.
and he said we can have different layers, where some of the layers that are there are all the trails, everything that is on the ground. And then
Discontinued
you
Right.
start, pulling in on, removing the discontinued, removing the, rerouted,
right.
and then you have what people should be using, or what, what we want mapped, what we want visible to the public. So I'm sure if we do capture it all, we can just turn off
Right. Right, that's what I'm saying, it's, yes, I
Yeah.
understand,
Yeah.
that, but I guess that was my point, it's like, do we wanna capture it because it's there, we know it's there?
It'd be good information.
Yeah,
There are a lot.
yeah, it's busy.
Yeah. So if I get on my bike and ride everything that exists there now, that is in Merrimack, and then the trails that we have authorized,
Mm-hmm.
the mileage number is very, very different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. Well,
So my thought is if they're willing to capture it, there may have to be an adjustment in what we pay
Right.
them.
Right.
Which we have some latitude with, but I think if they're willing to do it, and you're willing to support it, it'd be good data to have.
It's just an extra day of my life.
Yeah.
in the woods, riding the bike, riding the woods, in the trails.
Day in the life of Matt.
Yeah. It's not like a day you're never gonna get back, you know?
Like I said, if you're willing to do it.
You know, I was pleasantly surprised that the gentleman that's doing this can move through the woods very quickly. So that was a great plus to the situation. I was half expecting to have somebody that was not quite swift through the woods, but this gentleman can move
Well,
very quickly through the woods, which is
right.
a good surprise.
I think, I personally, I would like to have more data and turn it off than know stuff that's out there and we don't know where it is. 'Cause
Agreed.
we know we're gonna have people walking, we know we have people on it. I mean, we didn't, you know, how many times we shut this meeting down to go find people in the power lines and they weren't in our trails. So, I'd rather have it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, there's a public safety aspect to that.
Yeah.
You know, where you can go in, you can take a look at the whole thing and say, they're in this area, and there's 3, 4, 5 trails in the area, 2 of which we know about.
Yeah. Another thing with the data that he's capturing is he's not we're not just going, you know, on a trail and capturing
Right.
that line is a trail. He's, you know, when we get to a junction and it's the end of that trail,
Yeah.
he's closing it out with it's this wide, the surface is this,
Wow.
the elevation changes roughly
Right.
this. So we're getting a lot of descriptive data about the trails that we're mapping, not just the actual, you know, 1 meter variance of where the trail is. We're getting data on the trails.
Great.
So when we do map those trails that don't have a name and just kind of go off, at least we'll have, hey, there's a trail that exists here and it's in this condition and this surface. So, I mean, we can capture some amazing data with that. It's just, you know, it's an extra day to do it.
Please, if you would, keep us informed of when you go out, because especially on the new side, I'd love to spend some time over there. You know, just moving.
Tomorrow? I'm kidding.
But are you doing it during the day or you doing it after work?
After work.
Yeah, let me know.
Okay.
That should work, maybe. No field hockey games. Okay. Thank you, Matt.
Do you want me to talk to Sarah about the extra workload?
You know, no.
Okay. That's fine. You can leave it at that. I'm good. Right.
So they'll say something if it's gonna run more.
Exactly.
Okay. Yep. All right.
All right. No update on the no-cut buffer area along Horseshoe Nature Preserve in Washington Heights.
I have no update on that.
All right, that's pretty much been kind of taken out of our,
It's the town's.
it's really the town's
Yep.
responsibility now, so
It
that's
is.
probably something we can strike. Unless we have something that we know about, I don't think we need to keep it on the list.
I can tell you the one that I'm interested in, there's been no action.
Is that the next one?
Nope.
Oh, I think that is this one, right? Isn't this one where
I'm talking
the
about Quarry
remediation?
Trail.
Yep.
Nothing's been done.
Okay.
I can poke Jillian again if you'd like.
I know the subcommittee wants to be kept in the loop.
Hmm.
All right, well, okay.
Maybe we can leave it on for a little bit longer.
You want to leave that top one on there for a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just till we know what, if something's
Yep.
been agreed
No,
upon.
that's fine.
or-
I'm saying, but I don't think anyone here is actively pursuing updates on it. That was my point.
Oh, right.
So
Yeah.
we can leave it on there, but we're going to end up having this conversation. Yeah, does anyone know anything? No, I haven't heard
No.
anything.
I mean, I can ask.
Right.
That's not a big deal.
No, it's the thing we can ask, but I'm saying it's not something where anyone's actually going after. So
Yeah, I haven't been given any updates, so.
okay, update on the encroachment into Wasserman Conservation Area.
So I did have an email exchange with community development, and my understanding is that the property owner has not acted on the plan that was provided to him by his engineering firm.
Okay.
And so they're going to give him a deadline of October 1st to take care of it. And if that doesn't happen by then they're going to have to proceed with their normal process.
And this is the planting of trees?
This is the removal of the debris,
Okay.
the correction of the height of land, the material that he brought in that's now on our property that needs to come off, and then the planting of a few trees, just a couple of trees, I believe. But he did have an engineering firm do a plan for him that suggests how to do it and what to be done and all that. It just hasn't acted on it. So.
Okay. Update Anheuser-Busch volunteer opportunity. I have not been very proactive about trying to track these people down, but I've had a couple emails out to them and not really heard much back, so I'm not sure. I've not heard actually anything back, so I'm not even sure if they still are answering that email, so I don't know what's going on.
If you want to switch that to me, you can. I can
You-
call them during the day and stuff, and I can bug them if you want.
Yeah, all I have is email, so I can certainly include you on that if you'd like. That's easy. The website.
Yeah, so a couple of weeks ago I sent you all updated pages, the new design and all that. I didn't give Wendy the final go-ahead because I just wanted to give everyone an opportunity to weigh in if you hadn't weighed in before. I heard from a couple of you, but not all of you, not a majority of you, so therefore I didn't go forward. So are we good with the update as she's shown us? The new layout, moving of the changing of information to the top of the page.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the way she's structuring it is it's physically one web page, and it will modify itself to the type of device you're looking at it with. So if you're going to look at it on a phone that's more vertical or just a smaller page, it'll squish it down and extend it longer. So you just have to scroll a little bit more to see it all. And when you're looking on a bigger device, it'll spread out to its normal width. That still gives you all that information that you want to see that's changing right up front on your page. And she's going to add a spot where you can go find a property. So if you want to get on and you want to just find out about Horse Hill, there'll be a little drop down. You pick Horse Hill and you bring up the Horse Hill page or Greater Woods page, and you'll get the trail maps and everything else you want on it. So even if a mobile device or the standard one, you'll be able to get to a property rather quickly.
Okay.
Sound good?
That sounds great.
Okay, so we're all good with that? All right, I will pass that info along to Wendy. So, I know she's eager, so. I ended up having a few more things under this agenda item, if you don't mind.
No, please.
So, I forwarded you all some information about the benches when we were here at our last meeting. We heard from Liz about the benches that the foundation wants to put in. I talked about locations that are on our property. Are we good to let them go ahead and put those 2 benches in?
I think so.
Okay, all right, all right. Well,
Wildcat.
that's right, yeah. But so I think I forwarded you the email of where they want to put them.
Okay. Oh, Wildcat Falls.
Wildcat
Oh,
Falls,
all right.
yeah, benches, yeah.
I read that email.
All right, so the other thing is they're in the process of trying to cite a memorial bench that they want to do for Michael Laverne's in memory, so more to come on that, so that's not included here. These are just the benches that are similar to the ones that are at the high school, so that people have an observation point and a resting point, so. Okay. We got an email from Mike Powers telling us that our tree farm status needs to be updated,
Needs to be updated, yeah.
so I don't,
We get a little bit more, we got some more work we have to do. Apparently, it's no longer a single application or single form to cover us for all the sites. We have to do each one separately, so I have asked them for a little more information on that, but I have not heard back from them yet.
okay, all right. One of the things that went to me was, and it's kind of water over the dam at this point, is Parks and Rec put out their fall brochure that lists activities and stuff like that. I apologize, but I didn't get Matt's request to all of us out saying if there's anything that we wanted to do to add an activity for the fall, he's happy to do that, or so if we wanted to have one more activity, I know that you've did your backpacking one, and we got a few others, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and walks, so if there's anything else, we I'm sure that they'll accommodate us, so. I guess I have a question about what are we gonna do about the, now that we've discontinued the road in Greater Woods, and we've talked about, the D2 and D3 trails, but we need to start a process of moving forward with what we're gonna do for that road, to put that full emergency access in. And is that something that your subcommittee is looking to do a recommendation on, or should we be thinking about getting someone like Mike Powers or someone else to do the initial engineering work for it? And the reason why I ask now is because so we can take advantage of grant opportunities that might be available to us early next year and not have to pay for this whole thing. So,
I would think if we're gonna consider building a road.
Yeah.
Like, Gateway Trail was a road. It's not, it's a, you could pave over the top of it and it could be a substantial road. I think if we're gonna try to do something along that same line, that we should probably have a professional company come in and review that. I mean, we can make our recommendations and where we wanna be, but I just think they're probably gonna be looking at things a little differently than a bunch of volunteers.
I agree.
So, I suppose that's something we could probably handle initially through a subcom if we wanted to. We have people down in that group that are pretty active, so.
I mean, at some point, we're gonna have to maybe put out an RFP or RFQ, looking for interest for someone to do that engineering work, or see if our town wants to do that engineering work. We now have a new deputy director engineer, so,
Yeah, and in the summertime, we have 2 interns,
yeah, so,
and they do a
Is
lot
summertime over?
of, yes.
Okay.
It starts early, though. It starts
Yeah.
in May. Okay?
so the,
Usually they have stuff already lined up for them to do. I mean, you see them running around town, with a purpose, okay? They're just not,
They're just running around town.
right. I mean, I've seen them out doing things on the streets and roads and what, and every once in a while I bump into Kyle and say, what were they doing here, or what are they doing there? The whole bridge issue and the trailhead issue down at Watson Park is something that they worked on over a couple of summers, doing all the surveying work for that. So, all you can do is ask, and all you can do is say no.
Right.
Yeah.
because I think the ARM fund requests have to be done for April. You know,
Okay.
it would be good to have some engineering
Actually,
done by that point,
It'll be March.
yeah, so,
Well, I can start, I've gotta get back in touch with Mike anyways. I can start with Mike and see if he's got some time to go out there and look at it, but we can also start with a deputy director in town, see if they have the bandwidth to support something like that.
Mike's very familiar with the area,
Yeah.
and one of the subcommittee walks that we did, We walked
Right.
a potential location that I believe would support the type of, you know,
Yep.
Yep.
roadway that we're talking about. And, you know, the yes, it's been dry this year, but just the gates that have been put in,
Yep.
already it's like night and day, the condition of that.
Yep.
You know.
It's very dry. If you walk up by the Big Beaver Pond, I mean, you're looking at dry ground.
I've never
But-
seen it, that's right.
I've never seen, but even then, you walk along that trail, we were just on it the other day, and the ground is still wet. I mean, you're right there at the water level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that ground is not, I mean, considering how dry it's been, that ground is not dry at all.
Yeah, so I just, you know, I know that your subcommittee's busy, you've got lots of stuff going on, so I didn't know if you wanted one of us to champion and move this forward, or how you wanted to do it, so I figured if we started asking the question now, if we could get to some resolution by December, that gives us the 3 or 4 months we need to actually do something, but unfortunately, if we wait that long, it's gonna be hard to get out in the field and have someone see
Right.
conditions, so.
Do you wanna try to start with in town?
Yeah.
Is that something, the first question to ask, and if it's, I mean, we should be able to get an answer, I would think fairly quickly, yes or no, can they support that?
Right.
And then if not, we can call Mike.
Do you wanna do
Sure, I
that?
can, yeah,
All
I
right,
can.
okay.
I
I just don't want to throw all the work on you.
No,
Right.
that's all right. That's a phone call, so,
Okay,
or it should be.
all right. So the last thing that I have that is we have a wedding that's going to take place out on Horse Hill later this month, and also one out on Greater Woods. I've emailed you all about those already. If you need reminder emails as to the dates and stuff like that, I can do that. But if there are plans being done, we've given those folks, like the one in Horse Hill, I told them they can have the parking lot for that Saturday, because what they're gonna do is they're going to bring their guests in a bus to avoid having to bring in 40 cars or something like that, or 30 cars. They thought, you know, a couple of cars and a bus would be much easier for them to have that wedding on a Saturday, so.
So is it definitely this year? Because in
Oh,
her email, she said 2017. I thought it was 2017.
Yeah, well, maybe I completely missed that.
Okay, just
Okay.
checking. I didn't know she
So-
was, but if
so-
she's,
So, but later this month, we're certainly gonna
Change in
have
plans,
the one at,
perhaps.
the one at Greater Woods is gonna happen
24th.
over,
24th is
yeah,
the-
Yeah.
and that's over by, you know,
Mhm. At the deck.
yeah, right, so that one should be pretty low impact. But the one at Horse Hill is a little bit more because they're gonna bring in a bus, so.
So are we trying to close that parking lot down for the day, or just?
No, they're aware that other people are using
Yep.
it. She's quite aware of it. What I didn't want to see is us to
Right.
us to give it to another group as well.
Right.
Know what I mean? That's all. Just want to make sure, that's all. You know, you're right, it is 2017. I apologize.
I mean, but are we, maybe she meant 16.
No, it's
I
definitely,
think it's,
People plan ahead.
yeah, I know, right, yeah.
well, honestly, if it was this year, the day has gone by.
Oh, okay, okay.
So it's a moot point.
I hope it was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
What's the actual date on that one? I forgot.
9/9.
9/9?
Sorry.
Okay.
For some reason, I had in my head it was at the end of the month, but it was only one of them. Okay. All right, good. Sorry. You can tell I've been busy lately, haven't you? Can't you?
Well, you scared me. I thought,
Yeah.
oh no, they're all gonna show up, and I've been
Yeah.
telling everybody.
Yeah,
Two weddings.
Yeah, right, yeah.
One
So-
parking lot.
All right, thank you.
Did, we talked briefly about, the town addressing some of those down limbs over on Brookside Drive. Did we ever get,
Oh, yes, sorry, I got the update today. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to really
Sorry.
read through it because there's more to it.
oh,
Um,
great.
So what I'll do is I'll forward you all the info, and I'll try to give you an executive summary so you don't have to go through it all. I'll do that in the next couple of days.
Thank
Okay? Yes, sorry, but I just got it,
Oh.
and it comes from our new deputy director, Dawn,
Oh.
so,
So this is the new Kyle.
the new Kyle.
Okay.
Oh, right, because he got promoted, so
Yeah.
this is,
Yeah.
okay. The new guy.
Dawn, Twamala?
It is a rather a tongue twister of a name, and I saw it in print once.
Okay, well, all right,
And without seeing it in print, I'm not going to make any attempt at trying
Okay,
to give it
alright.
proper pronunciation.
all right. Well, I know I just tried, and I'm sure I didn't get it right, so, okay, I'll send that.
Because when it was
to all of-
presented to us, and then I looked at it in print,
Yeah.
I said, that's not how you say that.
So yes, we got an update.
Okay.
I think the
Nobody's
comment
left
is
something.
the trees that need to be cut, they're potentially not on our property.
Oh,
There is debris and everything blocking the easement area, so what I thought was our property line, actually where the storm water lets out and all that is in an easement area, not our property line, so some of the material is in the easement area, but not on our property. But there is some material on our property as well, and they're gonna consider putting up a sign. And I think that's about as far as I got through the memo, so.
okay.
So, but you'll see it all, along with pictures and everything. It's very detailed. I saw an engineer at work. Not a back of the napkin.
He's still in a probationary status, so, you know, he's probably devoting a lot of time and attention to his tasks.
All right, so, any other items to discuss? Good. Okay, we can go on to the minutes. If anyone would like to, didn't get a chance to read them all, go through them? Cindy?
Motion to approve the August 1st meeting minutes with updates. And I actually think I only had one.
I'll second that.
Second by Mike.
The only one I had was page 4, row 20. I think it should be, instead of wondering, should be wandering, just with an A instead of an O. That's all I had.
I had a few too.
You don't think it should be wandering?
It
No,
says
should be
wondering.
Wandering,
Oh.
not wondering.
So W, yeah, just WA, but yeah.
Go closer, Ray.
I had a few more when you're ready.
Is that it?
That's it.
That's it? Okay. Please go
Okay,
ahead,
I have
Gina.
on page 3, line 33, it's not Continental Drive, it's Continental Boulevard. On page 4, let's see, you got wandering. On page 5, line 36, Tim Tenhave with an H. On line, let's see, 38, at the end of the thing, at the end of the line, would likely benefit a party instead of, party or parties, so change of to or. And on line 40 of page 5, in a non-public, Gage would still be the chairman. He wouldn't be a commissioner. Because it's motion seconded by Commissioner Perry, it should be motion seconded by Chairman Perry.
Right, that's the meeting he became chair.
Oh, that's right.
That was a mistake.
And then on line,
On the minutes or
No,
the action
I'm
was
sorry.
taken on your behalf?
My filter wasn't working. You heard the voices in my head.
Yeah.
and on page 6, line 3, motion by, instead of Commissioner Karen, motion by Vice Chairman Karen. And that's all I have.
So I have one that hasn't been covered. On the first page, line 31 drifting into 32, the Michael Laverne Memorial Foundation. She spoke of being, so there is, it's not, so the word subcommittee at the end should just come off.
Motion to adjourn?
Nice
We already have a
try.
motion on the table.
I just have a question about the November, those.
We haven't voted on the minutes
gotta
yet.
vote on the
Oh, no, sorry.
So,
You're getting
You
ahead
got
of
me confused.
yourself.
all those in favor of accepting the minutes with the mentioned corrections?
Aye.
Passes.
Abstain.
What do we get, 601?
Yep.
601. Okay. With
Um,
Tom abstaining?
So I missed it. Were you officially appointed to our?
Yeah, it was duck and cover time for the rest of the council, and we started talking about that.
Yeah.
Well, Tom,
Tom
welcome
Kenny
back.
Tom
Nobody-
Kenny tried to, oh yeah, you can take the planning board.
Well, welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
Thank you.
All right, commissioner comments. Has anyone got anything to, oh wait, I know no members of the public are remaining, so we can skip over that. But commissioner comments, has anyone got anything they'd like to add? Cindy?
I just wanted to mention that it was a little while ago, I guess, that the family came. You weren't on here, Tim. Tom.
I've been called that before. Don't worry about that.
I hit my head and my foot.
Guy was within Scouts for the whole time in Scouts called me Tim.
Oh,
I kept, oh yeah, he said, well, I'm like Tom.
Oh, no.
Sorry. It wasn't worth it. It was a good hit. It was all right.
The family of Emma Cook came to ask
Right.
if they could put in the memorial bench for her in her memory at the Hartsville Nature Preserve, and that bench did get put in like maybe a couple of weeks ago. I think it looks really nice. It's pretty close to the entrance, so when you pull in, it's right on the right-hand side. And Lori from PWD came out, and Newt was there too, just to make sure that that location was okay for plowing and things. And Jason from Hepworth Memorials came out and actually installed it and did the footing. So if you get a chance to go look at it, it looks really nice. The little drawing that
Yep.
her grandmother talked about is on there. So, and then we actually have a meeting a week from today in this room. Yay, no stairs. Was a little worried about that. At 7:00, of the Horse Hill Nature Committee subcommittee. So.
Yeah, you find out just how handicapped accessible buildings are, don't you?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
I know. I was wondering if there was an elevator over there.
There is.
Oh, there is. Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Yes, I had to instruct them to, when I had my knee done, it was up on the second floor, and I couldn't get it to come down.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Can somebody give me some instruction on how to do this, please?
You didn't put in enough quarters.
That's right, yeah.
So anyway, and I said, and when you finish giving me the instruction on how to do this, would you please put them down on a piece of paper and post them at the
Right.
first floor and at the second floor?
Yes. That's good. That's good.
All right, Matt, you got anything to add?
We have a Greater Woods subcommittee meeting on September the 20th. Likely in this room, but possibly downstairs.
Wasn't there a work day planned? Do you have a date? Do we have a date for that?
It
Never,
it has come and gone.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we
did you
did,
guys, did it happen?
not really.
No, not formally.
Yeah. I've talked to Dave House. He wanted to know when the next one was because he wants to get the tractor out there. So,
Oh well, that would be
but so I'm just like, we don't really need to wait
no.
for him. So, all right. Tim, you got anything?
Only that the Wildcat Falls subcommittee meets tomorrow night. Unfortunately, because I'll be with Larry at that meeting, I won't be able to attend. But they're going to be talking about the benches, both the ones that we just approved tonight and the new one that they want to put in. So
Where's that meeting?
that meeting,
Sorry, let me put you on the spot.
It's, yeah,
In this building.
yeah, it's in this.
It's okay.
I
Well, that's the
think-
thing, it's
I
here.
think it is, yeah.
Okay.
Did we all get the,
Yeah, I just didn't.
Agenda?
I did, I just, I don't
I think
remember.
Amy sent the agenda out, right?
Yeah, she did.
She
I
did.
just didn't, I didn't look to see the location.
Yeah, so.
Okay. Gina, you got anything? Oh, I'm sorry, is that it?
That's it?
Gina, you got anything?
Couple of things. Mike had asked me to look into the grants, and the next 2 weeks are gonna be my powering through that, because I work best under pressure. So I will have some information for that for the next meeting. The other thing is, you were talking about, so they found some rare, bird species. It's not rare, but
Not real. Of conservation
of
concern.
conservation. And I was gonna say, I had never seen this in my yard before, but I looked it up, it was an American woodcock. It was, I don't know, kind of
Yeah,
yay big, and it had a very long bill, and it was looking very kind of lost and confused, but we do live pretty close to a marsh. I'd never seen one in 20 years. It was really cool.
Yeah.
The other thing is, tomorrow is the New Hampshire State Primary, so just want to remind everybody at home to vote. And there are 3 polling places now, so find your polling place and get out and vote. And I'll be at St. John Newman checking your name.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. Don't come
I-
see me.
I believe it's posted on the town website too,
Mhm.
the new polling
It is.
spots. Yeah, so
Yes.
if you don't know where your polling spot is, check the Town of Merrimack website, and your polling spot, it's divided up on the roads, east, westerly, certain roads, so it's
And
pretty
this-
straightforward.
It's, a lot of people don't show up for the state primaries, but it
Right.
is important, because this is where we pick what state reps
Right.
will be representing us, will be on the ballot, and, there are some contested big races, so.
Yep.
So vote, vote, vote.
Tom?
Yeah, I will be at the polls as an election official, because I'm on town council, so we have to cover those things, so I'll be there for that. The other thing is, I went to a workshop today done by NRPC on pipeline safety issues. And it was a guy from the organization, the pipeline, whatever that long acronym is that they have, the guys that are responsible for that kind of work, trying to explain what he does and why, and some of the limitations that he has and those sorts of things, and then offering some suggestions. Or actually, the NRPC had put together some materials on potential site review issues and an overlay for a pipeline. Now, this is for existing pipelines. It's not for new ones, okay? And so it's a very limited focus, but that's one of the things they were talking about. So I dropped a folder off with the town manager with the materials, and Nelson was there, so I presume he's going to provide something to community development on that. But they had a model overlay ordinance in there. But I just thought that, the potential there for conservation involvement in that is probably relatively high, especially in this community. But anyway, that was how I spent 2 hours of my day today.
Fun. No
Debbie?
comment?
Nothing? And I have nothing to add, so. Fire.
Motion to adjourn?
All right, motion to adjourn by Matt, seconded by Cindy. All those in favor?
Bye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that passes 7-0-0. And it's promptly 8 o'clock. Wow, new record.
Also looking at sprinklers and HVAC and things of that sort, which are building repairs that they're trying to save up for those in the out years.
Property revaluation, we always set aside $15,000 every year, and this year we will be doing the revaluation, as you know. Solid waste disposal, again, we normally put in $60,000 in there, but last year we didn't put that much in there because, again, we spent money to buy a truck for solid waste out of existing funds that we had at the end of 2014.